those magnificent men in their flying machines. They go up to the up, up, they go down to the up, down.
Anyway, this is to make the machine guns. Okay, I did say I'd show you this, and I'm doing it sort of like Blue Peter style, step by step, if you know what I mean, jelly. Anyway, I got my camera lady, so that's brilliant, bless her soul. So, straight from work, that's dedication for you, innit? Anyway, let's get on with the blabbing. So, if we get her to pan into this, ladies and gentlemen, is a must. You must try on the internet and get all the pictures of the machine gun, various pictures. Okay, so when and research it, look at them till you're bored to it this way. Look at them, see what I mean? So you get, this is of obviously the camel, okay, and then the other picture you need, this is of the Shuttleworth collection version of the camel. Excuse the light, but it is a very hot day and it's very sunny and it's one of them things. So you keep studying this and flicking between as you make in different parts. See where the hand is, this is what we're concentrating on, okay, all the rigmarole. Right, so if we go back to the bench, if we can, so small, dodging paint and everything. Right, here we are. This is the basics of it. It's like a miniature version Airfix kit. I've done my best. Right, so I'll tell you when I start. When you start, best thing to have is your blade, your prop even on the front. Right, because just to ascertain that your cannons ain't going to go too far and clip the prop. Okay, because it is quite easy to do that. So you've got that in there. You've ascertained that. So screw it on. Like, I'm going to do it now. Don't worry. Then, like, so you get your piece here. This is a bit of tubing, 20mm tubing, like I explained before. This is electrical conduit, okay? And this is a bit of tubing that just happened to go over it. And it's a nice tight fit, which is ideal. Alright, so the thing you do is you put them on first. This is obviously a scrap piece. You cut them to the width. You've studied the picture. These are going to go to either end of the barrel, okay? They're nicely fitted in. Okay, so you put them on first, and I'll explain in a minute. So, you get your bit in, and it'll fit in nice. You get your measurement, because obviously you're going to have a back to this gun. See, so you get that. I think this is about 6 inches. But each model is going to be different, so I don't bother with all that. Okay, so then what you do is you basically, I mean, I won't bother gluing it. You just wrap the glue around it, either side. I actually used, you can either use that Yoo-hoo glue, or I actually used a Mitrobond, because it actually dries like really quick, as if it was balsas, and it'll end up like that, okay? And you've got it nice on the edge. So let it protrude over the edges a bit, because you can always sand them if you have to, okay? So yeah, it'll be like that. That's your first stage, stage 1, yeah? So you've got that, okay? That's just to say that, because if you look at the picture, you'll see that it's got 2 cap ends. You just need to keep looking at the picture, or we'll be here forever. Right, stage 2. As you can see, I've done them all. You get a piece of strip. This is to accentuate like the barrel bars on it, the actual barrel itself. They've got like the bars that come in, you know, it's formed, and this is to imitate it. So I'll quickly do this, okay? So you get that here, like so, and you get your scalpel, okay, and you basically just cut it as you do. Right, so you got it there. Right, I might add that when I finish this, I'm going to give it to the person who wants the plans and the kit. I think that's just one little piece of that. Again, it's Unibond, Mitrobond. The idea is, as I'll do it now. See, okay, there you go. Right, and you put it in, and it'll stick literally instantly. Great stuff. Okay, you get sticky fingers, but unless you wear gloves. But anyway, there you go. So you've got it on right, and the idea is you obviously start one side, and then the other side is exactly the same. So you got points of the compass all round, so you get it that way. Okay, that's the way I do it anyway. You'll see the effect. So when it's all dry, stage 3, if you want to put it that way, you get a Mrs.'s nail file or your own nail file or whatever, and you just gently go down the edges like so, all the way round. Okay, so you got a nice bevel on each one. So you know what I'm saying, right? So when you've done that, when you look at the picture, they've got little grooves in the cannon barrel itself. So to imitate that, what I tend to do is get a little saw, my little made up hand, just for argument's sake, and you put, it'll be like that, just cut down through it. Because when it's sprayed, it'll show. So you do as many as you like. It's just a sort of imitation. That's because I just glued it. And then miss one out. Do it again like so. And so forth, okay? And then if you really want to be blasé, get a little angle file just to make it a bit more like so. So they'll come up like that. Ignore that, it's not nothing. Okay? So you got them. Now basically, they should be at the side. We'll come to that. So they're at the front of the cannon, okay? Right, no problem with that, or machine gun, whatever. But then that's them. No, right, so that's them. Right, stage 4, if you want to put it this way, you got to make the front. Now here's the front, and I might add, I'll just cut that up, but it doesn't matter, it's rough. Them little grooves I've just made should be at the front of the barrel, where this is. So in order to get this now, to get that, there's just this little piece here, okay? What you do is you get a piece of soft balsa, and I'll use this tube. Alright, you get your piece of soft balsa, and you just press down on it, okay, like so. Get a nice down on it, right, and it will leave a nice little mark, and then you either use your scroll saw or cut it out with a blade to get that little circle, and it will come out like that. And then what you do is you run that mitre glue again, mitre bond, you know, or whatever it is, Sino, and you'll put that in, right, and you'll put it in and it'll go in nice like so. Okay, see, look at that, and it'll dry, right, and leave it a while to dry because you'll have other things to do. So you got that in nice and dry, okay? So when it's in like that and it's rock solid, you've got to then concentrate on the pinnacle. So, the barrel, but the muzzle of the gun. Right, so what you do there is, right, stage 5 I believe, correct me wrong Karen if I miss a number. Right, so then with that, it's nice and dry as you can see there. So you got to drill a hole, preferably the width of what you're going to use. I'll come to that in a minute. Pilot drill it first, a little hole. And then with the width of the dowling rod that you're going to use, find a drill size. And once you've got that, I cut them reasonably that long, because basically it gives you a bit to play with. Okay, then what I tend to do, see, and as well as that, once they're in like that, don't glue them in yet, because when it comes to putting the cannon on the machine gun on the fuse, you can alter this. You'll see what I mean. Right, so there's your bit of dowling rod, you've drilled its size, blah de blah. Okay, so that, you know, that's going to fit at the right time. And just to give a bit of effect here, I just got a Dremel and drilled the holes again, 4 points of the compass, and then to make it look reasonably like the picture. It depends how much detail you want to go into, but on a 1/6 scale like this, A, it's very difficult to get everything right, and B, it's whether you're going to see it or, you know, it's just your preference. And obviously drill a hole at the bottom there for the muzzle. Okay, so right, so we're on stage 6. Stage 6. Right, so stage 6, look at that. So you got to make the back of the gun. Yeah, again, like I keep saying, I can't know I'm repeating myself, but it's a must to keep studying the picture to get a rough idea of what it's going to be like, you know, the actual gun itself. The back end, this is whatever the magazines go through in that. So it's a bit of a square block. Any old bit of scrap bolts, this turns out to be 10mm thick. So that'll do. And obviously you're making 2 of these. So obviously you make the first one, get it all right, and then double copy it. So the idea of that is then, you see, is that you just put it in the back like so. You know, cut it to shape, sand it all, so you got it all in. So it's like that. See, make sure it's true with the barrel, okay? So there you have it. So if we'll leave that there, right? Okay, so, and then that's, again, I use just the normal glue, shove that all on there like so. Okay, I'm rushing this because of the video. I might add, the last video I made, it took till 3:30 in the morning to download it from 7 o'clock at night. So you can see what I mean. So obviously you get it nice and straight. This is rough, but you see? So that's it. You're getting the basics of it now. And obviously that way it's got to be straight as well, so play with it. But so argument's sake. So you know what I mean. So, and that train's at the top there. You have to get the middle one in line with the barrel. Okay, so these little nodgy things. As I'll show you now. Right, so that's that bit. Okay, then this is when you want to play with it. You offer it up to the fuselage. You keep checking, you know, to see that things are okay. Hence that mark there. So you can see it all fit in lovely. So it's starting to take shape now. Now then, this is where you get your other bit. Okay, you just push it in. Right, so you get your muzzle in. All this has to be square as well, you know, trued up. But you obviously know that. So you just play with it. And obviously you've got to make sure that your prop doesn't get hit that muzzle. Okay, and then that'll be in. So when you've done that, what I tend to do with that is take it out, mark it with a pencil. Mark it with your pencil. Okay. Talk about instant speed here. We've got fair things to get. We've got a bit to get through, so that's why I'm rushing it. I'm sorry. Okay, so we do that. Squarely it around. Okay. Use white glue because it gives you time then to, you know, to get it nice and straight. I don't really want to ruin it because I made it once. Okay, so that's your muzzle in. Okay, so that's your muzzle. Blah de blah de blah. Okay, right. So that's that bit. No more white glue, I might add. That's the only white glue bit. Yay, jelly! So when you look at the gun, just assume it's straight. I know it's rough, but there you go. You got these little bits. I basically got a bit of scrap balsa, and you look at the picture and you draw it out as best you can to the picture. And if you've got better eyes than me, good luck to you. All right. Obviously, draw two out because you've got two guns and they're little bits, and they just literally, again, just look at the picture. Okay. And I believe they go somewhere about there. So that's that one, right? Okay, that's that one. Once it's dry, you just roughly sand it to shape. Right, or you could sand it to shape beforehand. Depends how you want to do it, but it doesn't matter. It's only rough. So you got the idea. You're getting the general idea of this, don't you? I hope so, because I'm not doing this again. And then this is the top bit, whatever that part of it is. Again, this is a bit of hardwood. It's easier with a bit of hardwood because you've got to take that gap out at the top. That goes dead centre there, like so. Okay, so that looks something like the gun. Alright, so you're getting there now. See, you're getting there and you're thinking, yeah, I'm almost there. Alright, so that's more or less it. Okay, for that bit. Right, that's the long gun. You can put stuff on the side here, but the way I see it is you're not going to see a lot of it once it's in there. You know, it will be in and it won't be worth doing that. Right, now, so you got that, okay. Now, on this particular model, or the aircraft itself, the real one, there's a gun sight that sits on there. And this is a bugger to do. So back onto the board. Right, source out a piece of tubing, plumber's tubing will do. Anyway, I think this one is 35mm. It should be, yeah. So, to quickly go through this, the gun sight, as you might add, will be there if you can see it on there. I do want to show you these last, so that'll do quickly, I don't want to show them last. Jelly. Right, so make these, what I do is I basically have 4 points of the compass again. Right, you just pilot drill a little hole with a really baby drill, I call them, these little drills here. See? Right, and you drill one hole there and one hole, the other, well, we'll drill one hole first, hold it with a pair of pliers, drill it through. Okay, and then when you've drilled it through, you put your pin in, push your pin through. Okay, you can probably push it through this, but we'll assume it's through. Right, now before you, so you've got your 4 points of the compass, and you've got this marker pen. The reason I say this is that's probably about the right size of tubing, and you chop it down to the same width, or less the width, probably the same width as that. Okay, and then that goes in the centre. And then what you do is that then, because you've drilled your 4 points, I use the 4 pins, push one pin right the way through with that in the middle, if that makes sense. See, so you've got one dead centre to make it right, the point of the compass, if you know what I mean. And then once you've got that in, you drill the holes, follow suit round, blah blah blah. And then you've got your 4 pins in. Well, you have 3 pins because it won't go through the whole lot. And then you get a pair of pliers and chop the ends off. And they'll hold in a way. You can put a bit of epoxy on if you want, but they don't really matter. Okay, so that will give you your gun sight. And then when you've got your gun sight, what you need to do then is that sits on there. So you've got to get whatever width you decide to make this sight. Okay, obviously it has to be out about 2 mil at least to get the drill through it. Okay, it won't matter when it's sprayed. You've then got to like Dremel out, mark it up here. Let's just do this. Mark the width there and there on the top of the gun, so that the gun's there. This has to sit inside so far down. Okay, like on the other one. Okay, like it's on the picture. Hey, and then glue it in. Once you've glued it in, put a little bit of filler around where that you've cut out the mark so it looks like it's sitting like the real thing in there. And then leave it to set and dry. And that will be the gun sight done. Okay? Alright? And that's the gun finished. There's only one sight I might add, and it's on the right hand side. Okay? You'll see that when I show you the finished product. So that's them. Okay, now, on the picture, there's not just machine guns, unfortunately. There's things like the windscreen and everything else. So, right. In the middle, I think it must be some sort of aiming sight or something. I don't know, it's a rod, this thing here. I think it might be dry by now. So, you know, it's so hot here. But that sits there in the middle, okay, between the guns. Right, this is just a felt tip pen that I took the innards out of, okay. And then to make it look like the bit there, that's a piece of electrical insulation tape that I've gone wrapped it round and round till I get the right thickness, like on the picture. And then you just spray it. You literally spray it black, right? Everything's black, matte black. And that sits there. Now once that sits there, you've then got to build what the bracket that the windshield sits on. On this plane is a windshield, believe it or not, which is back to this now where my finger is. I'll put that back in its hole. So they're all drying as I speak. This is what I'm talking about. This is the shape. It fits around the guns. Okay, and I've just did it out of balsa, but I will stress that if you're going to do it out of balsa, put a piece of thin ply backing on it before you cut anything, so you've got some strength, because that'll just fall a bit trying to cut that out. Again, use a squirrel saw and then cut it out. And once it's cut out, you've got the shape and it's nice to the guns, which is a bit of fettling, but you'll get it in the end. And you then have to concentrate on the windscreen. So the windscreen I've made out of just a bit of old casing that came with a saw blade toolkit, you know, anything like that I'll do. Reasonably thickness, about 1.5mm thick will do. Okay, because it's easier to work with. And then you look at the picture again, roughly draw it out on here with a bit of permanent marker or whatever. Okay, and then you cut it out. You cut it out with a Dremel and sand it and slowly sand it. Okay, and then that way you've got your windscreen. And then once it's cut out, you've got to cut that little hole out. So obviously you mark that up, so you've got that's where your sight thing's going through. See, so it sits quite nice, because that's going in between there and there. Okay, so that will fit in. And what I've done, just like it's thick enough, I dremeled out some slots down the sides here in the middle, so that it sits in. So when you come to glue this in, which I might actually glue in last, right, because you've got to paint everything and set it all up, that will sit in quite nice. So that'll be that bit. So that's we're getting there now. So I hope I haven't rushed it too much, because it's a lot to take in. But yeah, it's just a case of like I keep saying, look at the picture. You might make a few mistakes, because I did, but you just keep going until you get everything you're happy with putting on there, because you could put a lot more on, believe me. So the end results will be, you've seen that's the gun sight. This is the bit I was talking about. As you can see, that sits on there like so, and that little windscreen sits in there like that, with that tubing sits then like that. You know, it's all wet still. Okay, I'll need a couple of coats. Right, so that's how you get. That's the end result. Okay, and that'll be nice when it's put in. And then the machine guns, they're still wet, but I'll give it a go. Right, the machine guns, that's how the end result will be. I know in this light it's probably right, so you can see I mean, you're not see what I mean by the little griddly bits there. See how they come out now, they little griddly bits. And that's basically, you could put more on if you want, but that was as far as I got fed up doing it. Okay, I know it's nothing like the Airfix versions, but like I said before, if you want to pay out 28-30 quid a piece for them, then by all means carry on. But this is the way I do it, and I'm quite happy with that in a way. You know, and plus it's more fun to make them in my eyes, but a lot of people probably get fed up doing this. Anyway, so when they're all, the next stage with that is now, oh yeah, and the one with the sight, I better show you that. Well, there's the one with the gun sight. See, so you get your gun sight in there. Hence why I said with the pins in. Okay, and that's that. When it's all rubbed down, dried nicely, it'll look the business. So, alright, so we're nearly there. It's quicker than I thought. Right, so the next stage is to obviously glue them in. Once I'll spray the top fuse now. That's all there. I was going to cut the hole out, but I'm not happy with that, so I won't bother. I'm going to spray this up, get it all lined up and spray it up. Just put the guns in and the rods and that. Make it, there's a little bracket it needs to be made, which is nothing. There you go. There's a little bracket here. It's made out of cheap bendy metal. You get it from anywhere. That's just to hold that sight thing in. So I'll make you do that afterwards and just hand paint it. Won't be a problem. Right, so I've got to go shopping now, I believe, with my lovely wife. So I'll do that, and then I'll probably concentrate on the pilot and get him in, and you know, let's get in there, and that'll all be done before this time tomorrow. Right, so you'll probably see this video in about 9 hours from now when it's all downloaded. Jelly, cheerio, and have a nice weekend. Bye.
Those magnificent men, those magnificent